if we strip away everything and just look at the hail cores, this is where they are. Here's Whitney, a little bit to the north, to the northwest, and to the southeast. So that storm, that's one of the reasons why it does have a warning associated with it. And then, of course, the storm that's moving into Navarro County does have a tornado warning. Again, for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, things are kind of quiet right now, but the area that's under the tornado warning, certainly within the NBC5 viewing area, and we want to make sure we stay up to date with them. The tornado warning for those areas in effect until 2 p.m. Everything you see from north of Corsicana is right now non-severe. It's had a history of producing some severe weather. In fact, the storm that's moving up through portions of Grayson County, when it passed through Arlington, it produced golf ball size hail. So it's not doing that right now, but that'll give you an idea of the history associated with that. And you can see all the movement is from southwest to northeast. Still some pretty good rain, but this whole cluster north of Dallas is on the weakening trend. So that's good. You get some beneficial rain, still probably a fair amount of lightning, but you don't necessarily at this moment have to worry about a lot of severe weather. I think the better conditions are to the east of Dallas and to the south of Dallas, and that's where the most rambunctious storms. As we go through the afternoon, I think you'll see an uptick in the thunderstorms. Canton, Athens, Palestine, Tyler. That's why that tornado watch is in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. So there it is. It's a pretty broad area, goes all the way deep into East Texas, almost crossing into Louisiana, but holding still at the border. And it does include Dallas and Fort Worth. I would say the threat for the time being has come down just a little bit. But again, in this type of situation, every now and then you might see something that pops up kind of on the backside of this that could end up becoming severe. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Kevin, let's go back and look at our storm that is around Navarro Mills Lake. Let's look at the velocity couplet on that, and it's right here. It's just to the northeast or east of Texas 171. And what I'm looking at is kind of this red up against this light green here and here. And that tells me that there's still a very active circulation within this thunderstorm cell. Now, when we track it like this, we're tracking just this circulation. There's other portions of the storm that will impact people, but the potential circulation or the circulation is potentially where you would have a tornado. So that will affect Navarro Mills Lake at 134, Corsicana around 210, and Powell at 229. General movement and the forward speed can fluctuate a little bit, but on average, it's about 30 miles per hour. But as I look at this, and Kevin has this in motion, as it moved across areas, McLennan County, and then on into Hill County, it's held together fairly significantly, and it's about ready to move into Navarro County and affect the area around Navarro Mills Lake. Kevin, you seeing anything that's indicating from the Weather Service that...
Nothing on the feed, so once again, thankfully, that what was a tornado has now gone back up, but they're still monitoring it, still rotating. So, like you said, folks in Navarro Mills Lake, extending to the north and east of that need to take shelter because this storm is indeed rotating. Yeah,
and the rotation has weakened somewhat. It's become a little bit broader, okay? Remember, when we're talking about a rotation, the smaller and tighter that rotation is, the stronger it is. As it kind of broadens out, and think of an ice skater. When an ice skater has their arms out, the rotation is low and slow and broad. But as they draw those arms in, that's when they go, they really spin. And this is still a strong rotation, don't get me wrong, but it's not as tight as it was when it was producing the tornado earlier. Certainly still worth your consideration if you're in the path of this storm. It looks like the circulation is going to be perhaps grazing northern sides of Navarro Mills Lake and as it moves off to the northeast. So if you're in Dawson, I think the worst of it stays just to your north. If you're in Malone or Irene or Penelope, the worst in terms of the circulation has moved away. You can breathe a little bit, but you still have the other effects of the thunderstorm that's around, probably some gusty winds, very heavy rain, maybe even a little bit of hail with that. And this is what we call the reflectivity. This is what you're used to seeing. The bright reds represent some very heavy rain, so you might have low visibility with this storm as it comes into the Navarro Mills Lake area. And sometimes that rain is so heavy that you can't see, depending on your location, you can't see if there's a tornado in there because it's just a wall of water. So it's best to be inside. Make sure you're taking your tornado precautions. Remember the two simple rules. Always remember these two simple rules. Get as low as you can and put as many walls in between you and the outside. Where is that? What does that mean? That's going to be an interior room, such as a bathroom, a closet, or a hallway. Okay, those are the two things you want to remember the most. There are other things that you can throw in there, like, make sure you put your shoes on. Make sure if you need to protect yourself, you get some cushions and some pillows and, anything, bike helmets. But mainly, get low and get to an interior room. This is the view. That's I-45 and 287. So this is down around the Corsicana area. So you can see some significant rain. I'll tell you, 45 is getting some heavy rain. 35 is about to get some significant heavy rain coming into Itasca and then Hillsborough down through West. That's going to be some very heavy rain, and I suspect that will slow things down just a little bit. Looks like another potential hail core kind of developing very close to Rio Vista and just north of Blum. And you can see that is moving off to the northeast as well. Yeah, you got little hail cores starting to show up. This one north of Whitney is a little more significant. So $half size hail. Maybe in some cases you could see up to golf ball size hail, given the potential. Kevin, what do you say let's back out a little bit. Let's put a storm track on this whole cluster of storms from south of Cleburne over to west. It looks like it's moving off to the northeast. Now, given its current path, it's probably going about 35. I don't know, it might be a little bit more.
30 to 35.
30 to 35. So Cleburne, 137. Alvarado, 158. Italy at 213. Waxahachie, 228. Ennis at 252. Now, on this path, it may take it into sections of Dallas County. So if that's the case, that would be affecting Dallas around 307, Garland 334, and Terrell at 352. It's possible it might be a little bit more, kind of passing to the south of Dallas, but at this point, kind of hard to say exactly, but that's kind of the rough estimate. And I think, Kevin, it's probably more something that's going to graze areas of southeast Dallas, just given the movement that what we're showing. Yeah, something along that might be, yeah. And if that's the case, they both could be right if the storm expands. But Hillsborough 139, Italy 211, Waxahachie 225, Ennis 247, Seagoville 315, Terrell 347, Wills Point 411, and Canton at 427. Now, what could you expect with this cluster of thunderstorms? Right now, I'd say the potential is there for some wind and some hail. And just given the fact that we have the ingredients in place, even though there's no tornado warning in effect for Hill County, it's just the fact that this area is in a tornado watch until 6 p.m. So hail, wind, those would be the main two risks, but also you got to keep an eye out for potential tornado. This is the tornado watch area. We'll zoom out just a little bit, get you, better indication of where it is, where it's not. Denton, up through Decatur, Weatherford, and farther south, down towards Stephenville and Brownwood. You're not included in this watch, and it is a watch. There's a difference between a watch and a warning. A watch, of course, just means be aware that over a long period of time, there could be severe weather in your area. So we have a tornado watch. We also have the tornado warning. Let's go back down into Navarro County, and it looks like we have a new one.
Correct.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yes, a brand new tornado warning has just been issued for Hill County until 2:15. It's moving to the northeast at 30. Indications of a tornado and $half sized hail. That's the cell that's tracking up behind it out of Bosque County. So we're going to place the velocity products on to show folks what's happening with that cell. And there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's zoom in toward that.
Here, so we've got two circulations. We have this one south of Blooming Grove, and then this is the new developing one near Aquila. And it's fairly broad, but it's right here. It's just south of Aquila. So within this storm, it's become not just a severe thunderstorm warning, it is now also a tornado warning, and that's going to be tracking to the northeast. Back out just a little bit more, Kevin. Let's go ahead and track that circulation as it's going to move across Hill County. Probably staying, and this is a rough estimate here, but probably staying south of Hillsborough at this point. But if you live in Abbott, it's not immediately affecting you, but within the next few minutes it will be. Aquila at 136, Abbott 153, Irene 221, and Barry at 252. And you know the drill. If you're in that path, you have to make sure and take your tornado precautions. If you're not sure exactly what to do, at least, get the flashlight ready, get the closet moved, get the stuff moved out so you can go in there. Let this thing pass on top of you. It doesn't mean it's going to produce a tornado. It means that there's a potential for it. And as long as you react to that, you're aware of it, you take precautions, you have a very good chance of this thing not impacting you, okay? The odds are in your favor. The worst thing that happens is when people don't know it's coming. They're not prepared for it. Don't be one of those folks. Just by you watching us, you're going to be prepared. You know this is coming. So that's what you want to do. From west over through Abbott, this will be making a run towards I-35. Mm-hmm. And so there's that circulation. Let's go back and look at this one near Navarre Mills Lake. Folks in Blooming Grove and Corsicana and Richland are watching this and wondering, okay, what's this thing going to do? Still a circulation that is affecting northwestern sides of Navarre Mills Lake. It's still a stout-looking circulation. Still looks impressive. Doesn't look like it has weakened terribly much over the past a few scans. The radar scans it roughly every minute or so. And if anything, it looks like maybe it has tightened up just a bit. So if you're near Navarre Mills Lake, make sure that you are being prepared.
There's nothing in that area.
Yeah. It's out kind of in open area, but eventually, as you get closer towards Corsicana, remember, we're tracking the circulation, which is a rather small part of the storm, but one of the most dangerous parts of the storm. So it's not as if you're not in that path that you won't have a storm. No, you will. You'll get some hail and some wind out of this. Let's go back over to the reflectivity, Kevin, and you can see it's not just the circulation. Look, there's a whole big mass of thunderstorms that are moving through that area. So very heavy rain right along Texas 22 from just east of Frost over through Blooming Grove, almost coming into Corsicana. So if you're in Corsicana, you're watching us, the sky may be getting darker, maybe looking a little bit more ominous. Right now, it's heavy rain that's coming into your area, and there may be, Kevin, real quick, while we've got it over here, just see if there's any hail cores with this. I could see maybe one very close to Blooming Grove. It doesn't look terribly widespread. Yeah, our hail tracker is showing at least some smaller size hail near Blooming Grove right along Texas 22. So there is that potential for some hail with this, and then very heavy rain coming on in. So Corsicana, you're not in the tornado warning. The tornado warning is southwest of you. The circulation itself is very close, almost right on top of the northern shore of Navarre Mills Lake. Still no report of a tornado that is occurring.
Yes, there is a tornado on the ground. This is at FM 744 near Brushy Prairie.
Brushy Prairie. Okay, western Navarre County.
I'm going to change back to what the velocity products to show folks.
Okay, so now we're now getting a confirmation. So that's going to be very close to Navarre Mills Lake. I'm going to say it's north of Navarre Mills Lake. This is in Navarre County, and this is the broad circulation, or the rather tight circulation, and it is moving off to the northeast. So the core of this passing just on the northeast side of Navarre Mills Lake, and there's just not very many markers out there. It's south of Texas 22, and it's west of Texas 31, and it's just north of Navarre Mills Lake. Now, if you're there, make sure you're taking your shelter. Let this thing ride on through. I know maybe you might want to go and look and see if you can see something. Chances are you're not, because I think it's going to be in a pretty significant area of heavy rain. So that's a tornado that is occurring. That's the latest from the emergency manager out of Navarre County on FM 744 near Brushy Prairie in western Navarre County. So that's that assumes, I'm assuming that is just north of Navarre Mills Lake. So again, tornado warning in effect until 2 o'clock for areas southwest of Corsicana in Navarre County. Again, here's the circulation. For those of you in Blooming Grove, this circulation looks like it's going to pass to your south. I believe that for the time being, this is going to stay south of Texas 22 and just kind of move in a northeastward fashion. And it might actually kind of where 31 and 22 kind of meet, which is close to Corsicana. That's where this might be headed. So.
Yes.
You have any new information there, Ken?
You're right in that area where we're talking about where this storm is at. It's right there at Navarre Mills Lake. Actually, we actually had a point. It would be right there. I'll show it to you right here on this map. Brushy Creek is a route right here. So
Yeah,
it's like to the north of Navarre Mills Lake.
Right along FM 744. So that doesn't necessarily show up on our maps, but it's there. It's a smaller road, but it is there. And so those of you in between Navarre Mills Lake and Blooming Grove, if you're out in the kind of this open area, which I know some of you are, make sure that you're taking the tornado precautions. Get as low as you can. Put as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. And, hey, it never hurts to have extra protection. If you have a bike helmet, make sure you have your shoes on. Okay, that's a simple thing. Make sure you have your shoes on. Why would you do that? Well, in case the worst would happen, you don't want to be outside without any shoes on. So make sure you have your shoes on. So here's circulation 1, just to the north of Navarre Mills Lake. Circulation number 2 is just southwest of Abbott, and this is going to be in Hill County, southern sides of Hill County. It looks like the circulation is very close to Aquila, maybe even the circulation kind of just starting to shift slightly east of Aquila. Have not had any reports on whether there is a tornado occurring with this,
no.
But it does have, this is from my experience, there certainly is this circulation. This thunderstorm is rotating, and it's rotating fastest at this point in southern Hill County. And those of you along I-35, if you know somebody that, just happened to head south or coming up north on 35, let them know that just to the north of West and south of Hillsboro, we're going to see this circulation crossing I-35 probably within the next 10 minutes or so, 10 to 15 minutes. It will affect Abbott at 1:56, so that's roughly less than 20 minutes. So Abbott is going to be right on 35. So you got about 20 minutes before this storm crosses 35. And Bynum 207, Irene 223, Frost at 234, Blooming Grove at 245. So active day. So Kevin, let's kind of reset. Let's look at the big radar picture here. Those of you in Dallas and Fort Worth will kind of get an idea of what's been happening. We did have some severe thunderstorms move across portions of Tarrant and Dallas County. Those have moved out. So we are in a lull right now. That looks like there's still an active shower over Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. None of this that you see from near DFW on to the north or northeast, none of that is severe. Kevin, can you throw on, do we just have the 2 tornado warnings, and those are going to be to the south? So we have 2 tornado warnings and a severe thunderstorm warning. All of that is south of Dallas and Fort Worth. So that's where the most active weather is. It's moving to the northeast. So given its path, right now DFW may stay on the northern side of any active weather. Okay, but having said that, the conditions are still favorable for if a couple of thunderstorms were to develop back to the west, we could still have a severe storm. But I think the biggest cluster of thunderstorms will likely be passing very, very close or south of Dallas-Fort Worth. And you kind of can tell that from the way that the tornado watch is aligned. Remember, this is a watch. We've had the warnings. We have the warnings ongoing, but this is a watch. Watches cover much bigger areas for a much longer period of time. This goes until 6 o'clock tonight and does include Fort Worth and Dallas. Right now, the most active weather is to the south. all the ingredients, a lot of ingredients, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of ingredients are in place for severe weather. You can kind of feel it. It's humidity. It is warmth. There's wind. It's kind of windy out there, but there's also strong winds in the upper atmosphere. There's a twisting of the wind, so we have wind shear. So, yeah, that's how you make a severe weather pie. You have those ingredients, and we're seeing that play out. So, again, for Dallas and Fort Worth, the threat for severe weather still there, technically, but right now we are in a lull. Could any of these thunderstorms coming up from the southwest clip southern sides of DFW? Yeah, that's a possibility. So we'll be watching that very carefully. Again, back to our tornado warnings. We have two of them. There's one that is southwest and west of Corsicana across Navarro County, and then you've got one where the circulation is approaching I-35 in Hill County. So circulation number one right there. Do you see what I'm looking at here? You got the red and you got the kind of the light green, whatever color you want to call this. Sometimes it looks like purple. This is a definite circulation, okay? So that's where, by looking at that, I know that that's the part of the thunderstorm that is rotating the most. If there's going to be a tornado, and at last report, this did have a tornado associated with it on the northern sides of Navarro Mills Lake, or just north of Navarro Mills Lake. And as this moves, that's where any tornado is going to go, because the tornado is within that broad circulation. And
no updates on that storm. It is still rotating, but last confirmed report we had was a tornado that was on the ground. That was along FM 744. That was to the north of Navarro Mills Lake.
Yeah, that was minutes ago.
Yeah, minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, but we still see that it is rotating. So once again, you folks from Blooming Grove over toward Berry, along Texas 22, even extending to Corsicana, make sure you know your tornado safety tips, because, like I said, this storm is rotating.
And it looks like there's the thunderstorms in southern Johnson, and that may need a severe thunderstorm warning, the National Weather Service has said. The farther west rotation, the one in Hill County, the Aquila, where they're calling it the Aquila storm, is rotating quite impressively, and they're watching it closely on that tornado-warned storm. Looks like the circulation is moved east of Aquila and is approaching Abbott, but this is the area of greatest concern. Still just to the west of 35 and approaching Abbott. So if you're in Abbott or close to Abbott, go ahead and just make your way into your closet, get to that lowest level of the structure that you're in. If you have a storm cellar, if you have a basement, that's great. Most of us don't, so don't panic. That's all right. Just get to an interior room, a room that doesn't touch the outside. And usually that's going to be a bathroom or a closet. Closets are usually really good. And hallways can be good as well. And don't panic. Just, let this thing move on through. It's moving northeast about 30 miles per hour, so it's not going to stay at one location very long. It's going to keep progressing on through. But right now it is moving through southern sides of Hill County and getting very close to passing over 35. All right, and let's take another look at the cell farther to the east, the original tornado warning. And again, here's what I'm looking at. It's in between Navarro Mills Lake and Blooming Grove. It has kind of pretty much been on this northeastward track, so it's kind of headed towards the folks in Berry. And, at some point here, it's going to be crossing Texas 22. On its current path, it'll be close to Corsicana, might pass them just like to the northwest, but it'll be close enough that if you're in Corsicana, you're going to want to make sure and take your precautions. You don't necessarily need to do it right now. It's not knocking on your door. But if you're in Corsicana, now's the time to think, okay, we're going to take shelter in the closet. Oh man, I got to get the golf clubs out of there. I got to get this. I got to get so we can all get in there. That's what you should be doing right now. And just making sure that you're ready to go. Let this thing, pass on through. Still looks. Just got a new update here, so this still looks fairly impressive, the circulation. And every time I say it looks impressive, it just means it still has that potential to either be producing a tornado or could produce a tornado shortly. All right, and this is the portion of the storm that is going to do that. Let's go back over to the reflectivity, Kevin, and let's look at that whole storm. Yeah, you can see it's just a big old mess of heavy rain. There'll be some hail mixed in there. There might be some stronger winds that are blowing within that. But the tornado is going to be kind of stuck in the middle of all that rain. So if you're hoping to, take a picture or video, chances are it's going to be blocked by the heavy rain. So you'll at least want to just make sure and stay in your shelter. Don't worry about trying to do the social media thing. Let's back out, Kevin, and maybe just get a big, broad picture. And
once again, of course, not only do we have that tornadic storm, but we have the one that's to the south and west of that. I'm going to place the warnings on to show everyone what's happening and take the lightning strikes off. And those are really the only storms that have warned. We have the tornado warning that's in Navarro County. We have the other one that's in Hill County. And then we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for not only folks in the Hill County, but as well as folks toward Bosque County. And that's the one we're watching for you folks in the Johnson County, because that could be moving in towards southern Johnson County within the next hour. That cell is producing some half-dollar sized hail, as well as some wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. But it's this cell that's producing, well, we have two of them. We have the one tornadic thunderstorm that's producing the rotation that is happening and toward Hill County. I'm going to change this and go toward that to show you at least what's happening. That storm is indeed still rotating. And if you have loved ones that are traveling along I-35 and between Dallas-Fort Worth, traveling toward Waco, let them know that this storm will be passing over Interstate 35 within the next 10 to 20 minutes. And you can indeed see the broad rotation that is going to be impacting Abbott within the next few minutes or so, Rick.
And I'm going to talk to my producer here, Eric. I just sent you, forwarded you an email from a frequent contributor, and check that out, because that's some good pictures of the tornado, and I believe that was just a little earlier, so check out that. Okay, so let's back out just again, Kevin. We'll get our bearings. This is the western storm, what I'm calling the western storm. It is moving across Hill County, southern Hill County, approaching I-35, and the other storm I think is buried under this. It is in Navarro County. And we do have, look at this, Kevin, look what's popped up here.
There you go.
Yeah, just go ahead and zoom in on Dallas County. So we do have a newly developed, looks stout, newly developed pocket of very heavy rain. Throw the lightning on there. Let's see if there's any lightning with that already. But that has developed rather quickly just to the north of Duncanville. Does not look like it's producing any lightning, but it went from virtually nothing to now a heavy downpour just north of Duncanville and headed into downtown Dallas, given its current path. So that's what I'm talking about. The atmosphere, you sneeze and you might get a thunderstorm that pops up just because the ingredients are in place. And this isn't a situation where these thunderstorms are being caused by a cold front that once it's through your area, you're done. No, that's not this case. This case is there's nothing that's just going to dry us out and sweep away those ingredients, and that's why we have a tornado watch until 6 p.m. But again, just to reiterate, that's not a severe storm in Dallas County, but you know what? We'll keep an eye on it, because sometimes these things intensify and pulse up and could go severe. So active afternoon, especially to the south of DFW and to the east. A lot of what you see is not severe. It's heavy rain, low clouds, kind of scary skies. The wind is blowing out there, and it can be a little bit intimidating. But the warnings that we have are to the south, and you can see a severe thunderstorm warning in yellow, and we have two different colors. Kevin, zoom in on the area with the warnings, because there's two different colors that you're seeing here. You got this red color for a tornado warning, and you got this kind of this purple color. What's the difference? The National Weather Service, when they confirm, when there is a confirmation that a tornado is occurring, then they will issue a warning, and the warning comes out with this purple color. And that way you know, oh, this isn't a radar indicated warning. This is a spotter seeing a tornado. So that's what we have going on, and it looks like it's been extended now.
Correct.
And that's going to go up into
Ellis County.
Southeastern sides of Ellis County. And again, Corsicana, you're not in the path of this. So let's get the particulars on
Yes, now that severe thunderstorm, that tornado warning is now in effect for southeastern Ellis and northwestern Navarro counties until 2:30. That cell continues to move to the northeast at 30 miles per hour.
So 30, it's maintaining its same kind of speed that we have had. Here's the circulation. I know this looks like a jumbled mess of color, but after almost 35 years of doing this, this really stands out. So this is the area of circulation. So if you live in Barry and along Texas 22, make sure you're taking your tornado precautions right now. Not a panic situation. Just get in that closet, get in that hallway, get in that bathroom, cellar, basement, whatever. But get as low as you can and let this thing pass on through. You might have some strong winds with it. You might not have much of anything. Now we're going to put this, I don't know if it's moving quite that far northeast, Kevin. Why don't you do a loop and then go ahead and place that? Because I think it's more kind of headed towards just north of the Corsicana. Well, maybe not. No, that looks pretty good. So that would be into Barry here in another minute. So, and then M House at 2:06. So it really did kind of turn a little bit more to the left. And it is moving kind of in a definite northeast pattern at this point. So that would take it to M House and eventually down the road to near Rice. So those of you in Corsicana, it looks like that circulation is going to pass off to your northwest. So that's good news. Now, you'll still get heavy rain and so on and so forth, but at least the circulation is passing well to your west and northwest. Let's go ahead and put that back over to regular radar reflectivity. And again, Corsicana, well, you might miss the heaviest of the rain. That looks like it's from Texas 22 on to the north and lifting off to the north. Go ahead and zoom back out a little bit, Kevin. Let's see it with respect to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So that heavy rain is going to be spreading on into Ellis County. I think Waxahachie, you've got heavy rain to your south, to your east, to your west. You are going to get some of that heavier rain. These are pictures, I believe, coming in, from our friend Keith Miner, and this was South Central Hill County, about 15 miles south of Hillsboro. So he sent us in multiple pictures. Many of them look just like this. So this is the storm that is currently northwest of Corsicana. So this is the storm that is, I believe, to the northwest. I'm sorry, is that correct? Or is this the Hill County one? Or this was Hill County? So
yes, this is Hill County.
Just south of Hillsboro. Okay, so this was a little earlier this afternoon, but that's one of the reasons why we have overall a tornado watch that's in effect, because the atmosphere has some spin in it. So thanks to Keith for sending that into us. And right now the cell over Dallas County, not severe, but producing some heavy rain, and that's going to be kind of moving through downtown Dallas and eventually just north of downtown. You can see how quickly it went from nothing to there it is. And that will produce some heavy rain. And it could even have probably some small hail with that just south of 30, in between 20 and 30, but just south of 30, probably what is that, Oak Cliff, maybe in the Oak Cliff area?
Oak Cliff area as you make your way right there along Loop 12, 30, and then extends down towards Mountain Creek Lake.
Throw on the lightning. Let's just see if that has spiked up at all, because sometimes when you have lightning, that's an indication that you have hail, because
no
lightning, just some good old heavy rain. Okay, and maybe a little bit of hail mixed in with that. Let's go out a little farther to the north. Nothing of great concern. Folks in Canton, you've got some thunderstorms to your west. They are kind of moving from southwest to northeast. These are not severe right now. But again, you're probably going to see the sky darkening, and with the gusty winds that are out there already, it might be a little bit intimidating. This is all kind of moving almost more in a south to north fashion, so it might be a while before it gets there. One of the things that I haven't talked about with this situation, really today's situation, tomorrow and Sunday, is the potential for some areas to pick up more than 2 inches of rain. So this is a heavy rain potential. Some of it will fall very fast. Some of it might be, multiple rounds, but the bottom line is, in a situation like this, you also have to be prepared for any flooding that could occur. So right now, no flash flood warnings. So 2 circulations. One is just to the northeast of Blooming Grove, and that's moving in a north to northeast fashion. I think it's headed towards the Rice area. We also have a second circulation that is very close to Abbott. It looks like the circulation has now shifted just east of 35. Just east of 35, but still close enough to the folks in Abbott that you make sure you stay in your tornado precaution area. Bynum, get ready to seek your shelter just because of the circulation coming close by.
And be advised, in Bynum, that is a confirmed tornado that's on the ground near Highway 3106, moving toward FM 1242. The National Weather Service just updated it, that warning, so now it's changed to the purple color.
Okay, the Bynum Fire Department reporting tornado over HCR 3106, going to FM, going towards FM 1242. Again, those don't necessarily show up on our maps, but you'll get the idea that it's very close to Bynum, and the circulation is approaching Texas 171, moving in a northeastward fashion. Given its movement, it may stay to the west of Malone, and we'll put a storm track on it. And it's moving at about 30 miles per hour, so that's kind of typical average speed. But Bynum, 203, so you got about less than 4 minutes. And then Frost at 231, if that circulation holds together as it moves off to the northeast. I'm curious, just show me what the reflectivity, stay on that, but show me what the reflectivity looks like right now, because what is that? Yeah, I don't know if that's anything, if it's just garbage. Sometimes with the data, we just say it's garbage. It's not accurate, but there is, I don't know, that would have my concern if there were some eyeballs on that. Let's go ahead, Kevin. Let's kind of reset. It's 2 o'clock. We're going to kind of zoom back out, Kevin. Let's show the big broad view here. We're going to start off with this is a picture from earlier this afternoon, south of Hillsboro. At least one confirmed. We might be up to 2 confirmed tornadoes now, but our friend Keith Miner sent that in to us, and that's from a little bit earlier, probably within 30 minutes, 45 minutes ago. But that's what the action is. This is south of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The broad view looks like we have 2 confirmed tornadoes taking place to the south. Anything in Dallas, we have a heavier shower right now that's moving through downtown Dallas. That's not severe. This is not severe to the east of us. The most severe action has been to the south and southeast of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we have 2 tornado warnings. They're both purple. What does that mean? It means they're confirmed tornadoes associated with it. So let's start with this one east of Hillsboro, Kevin. Let's find that circulation and track it. And it's going to be right here, just southeast of Hillsboro. So I'm not sure. That picture from Keith Miner might have been from this cell. This does look like a tightly wound circulation. Let's throw on, Kevin, if you would, throw on the debris tracker. I know it's not over any highly populated areas, but sometimes if there's a tornado now, and offhand, I don't see anything. I'm looking for a signal that would indicate that there would be debris. And I know this is there's a big old mass of color, but I don't see what I would be looking for. I just don't see that. So that may be a good sign, or it may be that it's just out over an open area and it's not kicking up much debris. But go ahead and track it. That's going to be crossing the area from Bynum to Malone, in between, very close to Bynum and Malone. 206 for Bynum, Frost at 233, and 244 for Blooming Grove. And that's moving off to the northeast. So that is a confirmed tornado associated with that storm. What do you do if you are in the path of that storm? Well, make sure you follow your tornado precautions. Get as low as you can. If you're up on the 3rd floor, try to get down to the 2nd floor. Get as low as you can. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, just put as many walls in between you and the outside. try to have a room that's got walls around it, like a bathroom or a closet or a hallway. You know, if you have a hallway you can go to, or even a basement, that's pretty good. Here's our second circulation. This is in Navarre County, and it's approaching M House, and we'll be there in about 6 minutes. Rice at 223, and any confirmations of any tornadoes, anything that's...
Not heard lately, no. Let's see, now that's from the storm that's happening down to the south of us. And Abbott, the fire department is responding to 18-wheelers that have been overturned near Abbott. So we're now getting reports of some damage down around the Abbott area. That's from the storm that's producing the tornado warning in toward Ellis County. And we're now starting to, the National Weather Service is now starting to see a tornado debris signature just north of Berry.
Let's look at that.
Yeah. So
make sure you keep monitoring this.
Yes, and
okay.
that's yeah. So now we're getting a debris signature that's north of Berry. So maybe Rick, those are the colors that we're now starting to see. I'm going to take this off here, and we're starting to see. Well, this is the circulation. This is a pretty strong circulation. Let me look toward the debris, see if we see anything on that.
This is pretty strong circulation down near M House. Yes, right here. This is what I'm looking at, tornado debris circulation. So what the radar does, it looks at everything. It looks at all the raindrops, and it says, oh, those raindrops look the same. But what is this down here? Why does this stuff look different? And it can be because it's not raindrops. It could be 2x4s or leaves or pieces of shingles. So, the radar highlights that area as having debris, okay? So if you're in M House, it's a serious situation. Make sure you're in your tornado safe spot. Get to that lowest level of the structure that you're in. Put as many walls in between you and the outside. If you have a bike helmet, yeah, put it on, all right? If you don't panic. Just get into that safe spot, lowest level, bathroom, closet, interior closet, hallway, and try to protect yourself with pillows and cushions, all right? Get this thing on through. We're tracking it off to the northeast, so at some point, it's looking pretty strong right now. M House here in, within a minute. Rice at 220, so this is a confirmed tornado with a debris signature. Go ahead and let's go back to that, Kevin, on the, let's go look at the debris signature with this, and we'll see. Okay, that's velocity right there. That sticks out like a sore thumb. So this is kicking up debris. And again, the radar can determine, well, this is a raindrop. What's this? This is something different from a raindrop, and that's how it alerts us that there's something going in there. So we've got debris coming into M House. Again, make sure you're as low as you can and get your shoes on, get to that safe spot. If you have a helmet, great, put it on. Use pillows, blankets, pull the mattress off your bed, crawl under that, things that you can do to protect yourself. Let's back out just a little bit, Kevin, and let's see what the other circulation is looking like. So we have that one, this one coming into, it's right here, just east of Bynum. It does not look nearly as strong as the first one, but those of you in Malone and Irene, maybe up through Mertens, go ahead. Take your safety precautions as well. We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go back to this first one here. And this is in just south of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is in Navarre County near M House. And this is northwest of Corsicana. Really strong signal for a tornado. And there is one confirmed and is producing debris right now as we speak. I'm just looking at any information coming in from the National Weather Service. Again, this is our debris tracker, and the radar just has a great way of being able to determine one of these things does not look like the others. Everything else here is raindrops or nothing, but this is larger chunks of things. And so we got a good confirmation that that is producing debris, whether it be tree, vegetation, things of that nature, or whether there are structures that are being impacted by this as well. Let's go back over to the regular reflectivity. We'll back out just a little bit, Kevin. I want to get this in perspective with the Dallas-Fort Worth area.